Have you ever wondered why some baby portraits look incredibly soft and realistic, while others somehow end up looking much older? The secret isn't drawing more details, it's understanding where to place them. So in this tutorial, let's bring this baby portrait to life using a few simple graphite techniques that anyone can follow. So let's get started. Okay, so to build that foundation, start with 8B graphite powder and a bigger size dry brush. Since the right side of the baby's face is receiving much less light than the left, that's the perfect place to begin, because it allows you to establish the overall lighting before worrying about the brighter areas. Rather than trying to achieve a deep black immediately, build the graphite slowly using small circular motions. This gives much better control over the values and helps avoid those stubborn dark patches that almost every artist has struggled with. For the smaller areas, switch to a medium-sized dry brush, because it gives much better control without disturbing the surrounding values. One mistake that's incredibly common is trying to finish the shading in one pass. It feels faster, but it usually creates more work later because removing excess graphite is much harder than adding another light layer. Think of it like making tea. You can always make it stronger, but once you've added too much, there's no easy way back. Another thing worth paying attention to is the movement of the brush. Keep it moving continuously in small circular motions instead of rubbing back and forth. The moment the brush sits in one place for too long, the graphite begins collecting unevenly, and later those little patches become surprisingly difficult to hide. Once the base is evenly built, lightly blend everything with a tissue paper. The purpose isn't removing graphite, it's simply softening the transition between light and shadow, because baby skin rarely contains harsh value changes. By the time the base layer is complete, the portrait still won't contain many details, but it should already feel soft and three-dimensional. That's the sign that the foundation is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. All the reference images you need, including the grid and outline versions, are available on our Academy site to make your drawing process smoother and more structured. Now let's move on to the forehead, and believe it or not, this is one of the easiest places to accidentally make a baby look much older. The reason isn't the shading, it's the texture. Baby skin isn't covered with obvious pores. Most of the texture is so subtle that you only notice it when the light catches it from the right angle. The first step is to build the main highlight on the forehead, and for that grab your Mono 0 eraser. Start just above the eyebrow and gently lift the graphite using small circular motions while keeping the pressure extremely light. Rather than pulling out a bright white highlight immediately, slowly lift the graphite using small circular motions while keeping the pressure very light. Think of it like increasing the brightness of a photograph, one click at a time. Small adjustments almost always look more realistic than dramatic ones. As the highlight becomes larger, you'll notice the center naturally appears brighter while the edges remain beautifully soft. That smooth transition is exactly what creates the gentle roundness of a baby's forehead. And it's one of those small details that makes the skin look soft instead of flat. Once the highlight is established, grab a kneaded eraser and gently dab around the edges to soften the transition even further. One thing that's always worth asking yourself at this stage is not whether the texture looks realistic, but whether the forehead already feels round. If the form isn't convincing now, adding more pores later won't magically fix it. Now it's time to build the texture using the Mono 0 eraser. Instead of creating evenly spaced dots, constantly change their size, spacing and brightness, because nature never repeats itself perfectly. Some pores catch more light, some almost disappear, and others naturally gather into tiny clusters. That's exactly the kind of randomness our eyes recognize as real skin. As the texture approaches the bridge of the nose, begin mixing tiny strokes with the dots, because the texture should always follow the surface underneath. Even the smallest marks should help describe the roundness of the face instead of simply sitting on top of the paper. Now let's quickly build the upper eyelid highlight just like we did on the forehead. This highlight isn't just adding brightness, it's creating the illusion that the eyelid is wrapping around the eyeball, which immediately gives the eye much more depth and realism. By the way, if you're a complete beginner and you keep throwing away your drawings because you feel like you just can't draw, it's not your fault. You just don't know the basics yet. And that's exactly why I made this full course, to help you go from shaky lines to realistic drawings step by step. It covers everything from basic lessons to advanced techniques, tips and tricks, all structured in a clear step-by-step format, so you don't have to guess your way through it. Thousands of students are already learning and growing through the course, and I put my course on sale for 5 days every month just for my YouTube family. Check the link in the description or comments to see if the sale is live right now, and get enrolled before it ends. Now comes the part that almost every artist looks forward to drawing, which is the eye. If your outline has also faded during the base layering, then let me show you a little trick that has saved me countless times over the years. Rather than trying to rebuild every tiny detail one by one, always start with the biggest and darkest shape first. Once that anchor is in place, the eyelids, eyelashes and every other detail naturally become much easier to position accurately. Once the iris is established, rebuild the upper and lower eyelids using the same 8B pencil. Then adjust their thickness wherever needed using a perfection eraser. Even tiny changes here can completely alter the expression, so don't hesitate to make small corrections before moving further. Don't forget to lightly blend the eyelids and surrounding shadows using a blending stump to soften everything without losing the structure. Now it's finally time for the eyelashes. Keep your 8B pencil extremely sharp and create each lash with one confident flicking motion. Baby eyelashes are much softer and finer than adult ones, so avoid making them thick or dramatic. Some lashes should be slightly longer, others shorter, and a few can naturally overlap each other. As they move towards the inner corner, gradually reduce both their length and curve because the eyelid itself becomes narrower in that direction. Think about a freshly mowed lawn where every blade of grass is exactly the same height. Then compare it with a natural field where every blade grows differently. That's exactly the difference between artificial eyelashes and realistic ones. Once the lashes are complete, use the mono zero eraser and electric eraser to carefully lift the highlights inside the eye. It's amazing how a highlight only a few millimeters wide can completely change the expression of the portrait. That tiny sparkle is often the moment when the drawing stops looking like graphite on paper and finally begins looking back at you. But the eye is only the beginning because the next few features are where this portrait truly starts showing its age. A few simple techniques around the eyebrows, nose and cheeks will completely transform the softness of the face. And that's exactly what we'll build next. If you want to watch the full step-by-step tutorial of this drawing, you can access it on our Academy site. Link is in the description. Now that the eye has started looking alive, it's time to work on something that many artists don't pay enough attention to, which is the eyebrows. You'd be surprised how much influence these tiny hairs have on the age and expression of a portrait. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is drawing baby eyebrows exactly the same way they draw adult eyebrows. The proportions may be correct, but the portrait immediately starts looking older because the eyebrows become too dark, too dense and too well defined. To avoid that, use a sharp 3B pencil and begin building the eyebrow with soft, thin strokes instead of bold lines. The reason for choosing a 3B pencil here is simple. It gives much better control over the darkness, allowing you to create delicate hairs simply by changing your pressure instead of constantly switching pencils. Another thing worth paying attention to is the direction of growth. Near the inner corner, the hairs naturally point upward, but as they move towards the middle, they slowly begin curving sideways before gently fading away at the tail. Rather than thinking about individual hairs, try thinking about the overall flow of the eyebrow because that's what our eyes recognize first. One simple trick that helps tremendously is keeping your pencil extremely sharp throughout this stage. Baby eyebrows are incredibly fine and even the most carefully placed stroke can start looking heavy if the pencil loses its point. As the eyebrow reaches its tail, gradually reduce both the number of hairs and their darkness. Adult eyebrows often have a clearly defined ending, but baby eyebrows usually fade so softly that they almost disappear into the surrounding skin. Once the hairs are established, introduce a few tiny highlights with the electric eraser to break up the surface. Those subtle value changes help the eyebrow blend naturally into the skin, instead of sitting on top of it. Now let's move on to the nose, and the good news is that you already know most of the technique because we learned it while working on the forehead. From this point onwards, the real challenge isn't learning a new method, it's learning how to read the light. Every facial feature follows the same principles, but the highlights and texture change depending on how the light is wrapping around that particular form. Start by cleaning the edge of the nose using your Mono 0 eraser. Then use a 3B pencil if any part of the outline needs a slight adjustment. Once the proportions look right, grab your 8B pencil and darken the dull areas. Remember to use variable pressure here because the shadow shouldn't stop suddenly. It should gradually fade as the surface turns towards the light. Now, just like we did on the forehead, build the main highlight using your Mono 0 eraser. But this time, let the highlight follow the long curve of the nose instead of creating a circular shape. Notice how the highlight becomes brightest along the raised bridge and then slowly softens as the surface curves away. That gradual transition is what makes the nose feel rounded instead of flat. Once the main highlight is in place, lightly soften it using a clean blending stump. Then begin introducing the texture. Rather than covering the entire nose with dots, look for the areas where the light is strongest, because that's exactly where the brightest texture belongs. Use your electric eraser to create those clusters of dots. Then soften the surrounding edges with the Mono 0 eraser so the texture naturally blends into the skin. As you move towards the tip of the nose, you'll notice the light becomes much stronger. Instead of immediately adding bright dots, first create a soft base highlight, and then place the brighter texture only on the highest point. This simple layering technique creates a much more natural shine than placing bright highlights directly onto dark graphite. Now moving on to the mouth, the technique remains exactly the same, but this time pay close attention to how the light is describing each curve of the lips. Start by identifying the darkest areas because they establish the overall structure. Then gradually shift your attention towards the highlights that define the shape. Notice how the Cupid's bow catches a crisp highlight, making the upper lip appear fuller, while the tiny broken highlights around the mouth create those subtle changes in plane that make the lips feel soft and rounded. Instead of treating every highlight equally, keep asking yourself which ones are actually shaping the form and which ones are simply adding texture. Once you begin observing the lips this way, you'll find it much easier to recreate their natural volume and softness. The chin follows exactly the same principle. Instead of thinking about texture first, look at the overall form and identify the highest point that's facing the light. That's where your brightest highlight should naturally appear. As the surface begins turning away from the light, allow the highlights to become softer and less noticeable. Another detail worth observing is the separation between the cheek and the chin. Even a subtle change in brightness along this edge clearly explains where one form ends and the next begins, giving the lower part of the face much more depth without adding unnecessary detail. Now let's move on to the cheek. Just like the previous features, the technique remains the same, but this time the goal is creating the largest and softest highlight on the face. Before adding any texture, first identify the highest point of the cheek, because that's where the light is falling most directly. Using your electric eraser, build the brightest cluster of dots around that highest point. Then switch to your Mono 0 eraser to create the softer surrounding texture, just like we did on the forehead. The secret here isn't adding more texture, it's gradually reducing both the brightness and the density of the highlights as they move away from the light. That's what creates the beautiful roundness of the cheek. Once you're happy with the texture, gently soften it using a kneaded eraser. Finally, add just a handful of the brightest accents using a jelly roll pen on the highest points of the cheek. Think of these as the final sparkle. A few carefully placed highlights will make the skin look fresh and realistic, while too many will flatten the form instead of enhancing it. And with that, the portrait is finally complete. If there's one lesson I'd like you to take away from this tutorial, it's that realism isn't created by drawing every tiny detail you can see. It's created by choosing the right details to emphasize and allowing the viewer's brain to complete the rest. Also, if you are an absolute beginner and want to learn drawing from scratch, you can join our drawing course on AHR Studios Academy. It is now trusted by 20,000 students across 165 countries. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.